Okay. Om Shanti. Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all on behalf of Raj Yoga Center to this evening session, and thank you for being here this evening. In spite of your busy schedule, you've taken time out for this, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this session. And I feel privileged to welcome Sister Sharona. So on behalf of the Raj Yoga Center in Dubai, I welcome you wholeheartedly, Sister.
Thank you.
And Sister Sharona she was born in the United States, and as she grew up, she went to acquire her master's degree in adult education from the University of Sorbonne in France. And her first interaction with the Brahmakumaris happened in 1983 when she met them in Paris. So ever since then, she's been associated with the Brahmakumaris a lot. She oversees the activities of the Brahmakumaris, and she practices and teaches Raj Yoga. So through her yogic powers, she's been looking after the center there. And she travels a lot. She travels immensely, carrying her rich knowledge and wisdom to spread the message of peace and hope, to create a healthy, happy, and global society, prosperous global society. So here we have Sister Sharona talking to us about heal your feelings. So we all live with feelings, right? So it's a very important aspect of our day-to-day life. So she's going to tell us how to heal. So I'll call her Dr. Sharona today. Thank you, Sister.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for all coming, and also to our spiritual sister. Thank you for such a lovely introduction. And I've never been to Dubai before. It's my first time, and I am amazed. It's kind of like visiting a golden aged future. Everything is very clean and very modern. So myself and the other person who's accompanied me on this trip, we are amazed. And so originally I was thinking, do you need to heal your feelings in such a beautiful place? Aren't feelings as clean and sparkling and new as this place? But then, of course, we know that matter is one thing, and human hearts and souls are another. And most of us by now have begun to understand that you can have the best of devices and material goods and still be suffering so much in the heart and in the soul. So let me ask you, what kind of feelings do you want to heal? You all came here because this topic, healing your feelings, spoke to you. What feeling do you want to heal?
Lots of complications in the life.
Lots of?
Complications in the life.
Complications. Lots of complications in the life create complicated feelings. Is that right? So we would like feelings which are less complicated. I can very much relate to that because everything has become so complicated. I don't know about you, but when I started my spiritual path, I began to realize how much overthinking is destroying whatever peace, whatever happiness we would have naturally. So it's a very good point. Anyone else?
Feeling of helplessness.
Oh, that's a big one. Feelings of helplessness, overwhelm, helplessness, disheartenment. It's not far away from hopelessness. In some parts of the world, that's a very strong feeling, which is worthwhile turning around. So we can call this the healing of feelings. We can also call it the turning around of feelings. So many different things. Yeah, I was leaning over to try and catch this mic. Realized I was going to have a bad back by the time this was over. Thank you. Yeah, anyone else? What are the feelings that we want healed?
Betrayal, anger.
These are very strong feelings, but they are reality, are they not? Betrayal, so strong. And anger. My goodness, I recently learned that there are 98 expressions of anger. 98 expressions of anger. So to reject, to turn away, these are also expressions of anger.
Feeling of loss.
Feeling of loss. Big ones. Big ones. So we're kind of underlining for ourselves that it doesn't matter what are the external conditions, what goes on between us, what goes on in our relationships is much, much more powerful and impacting to our well-being. Up to a certain point, of course, material well-being is a plus, but beyond a certain point, it doesn't help us keep healthy feelings. Healthy feelings. So we have on the one hand feelings that need to be healed, and on the other hand we have healthy feelings. And we all know what healthy feelings are, right? Loveful feelings, peaceful feelings, happy feelings. What else?
We get off sufferings. Sufferings.
Sufferings are what we want to heal. So on the other side, what do we have? Happy feelings. We know what healthy feelings are, at least I hope we do. Healthy, loveful, peaceful, what else?
Content.
Contented feelings.
Kindness.
Kind feelings. I knew that I was in trouble 42 years ago when I started my spiritual studies, when I realized how much of a struggle I was in to work with kind feelings. Outside, I was kind. That hadn't changed. My mother had raised me well. But inside, there was so much anger. There was so much recognition of betrayal and different negative feelings that I was really wondering if kindness was healthy, because it seemed to be that people took advantage of your kindness, people walked all over you with your kindness, and unkind people seem to be getting further ahead than the kind people. So I really relate to how kindness is a healthy feeling. No matter what kind of bad press it's been getting. But that's been an accomplishment of my spiritual experiences. Anyone else? What is a healthy feeling? Because we want to be clear about our aim. Knowledgeful feelings. That's nice. I know for me, one of the biggest pieces of knowledge I had by working with Raja Yoga meditation was just details about the law of karma. Details. And I took my time to prove to myself that there are laws working in the universe which really invite you to come back to kindness, contentment, respect, healthy feelings. Because this law states, as I sow, so I shall reap. Very powerful piece of knowledge. So knowledgeable feelings, knowledge-based feelings could be useful, especially if they're balanced with not just an understanding of what is a healthy feeling, but some real experiences of them, right? Because when I first started my spiritual studies, I must say I very much enjoyed the information I was being given, such as details about these laws operating in the universe. That was very helpful. But at the end of the day, it just became more knowledge. I was always interested and a believer in knowledge. I went into education. My degrees are in education because I always felt that if people just could be helped to understand more, we could be a little bit more in charge of emotions, and there could be something better happening in families and in communities and the workplace. So in the beginning, I enjoyed the knowledge, for example, of karma. But very quickly, it became just more things on the shelf of the mind. And it's amazing. There is not that much difference between the head and the heart. But ultimately, for some of us, it could be the longest journey we ever embark on. I had turned to the head and understanding so much that I was in danger 42 years ago of losing touch with the heart and the experience of the kind of contentment and kindness and love that we want to be putting out, so that that is what comes back to us. But knowledge-based feelings, very powerful. Anyone else? A healthy feeling?
Gratitude.
Gratitude is very big. It's very big. I have come to see that appreciation is a very powerful energy. And sometimes to make the connection with the best part of me, which is also an energy, just simple appreciation is enough. Is enough. So on a spiritual path, what we can learn is that I like peaceful people and I like to be around happy people, because that's really what we all are originally. We're made of things like peace and happiness. So first of all, we're saying that these are energies. Healthy feelings and unhealthy feelings are energy. This is a piece of knowledge. So you have unhealthy energies inside and healthy energies. And of course, the purpose of a spiritual study is to get to know those healthy energies inside me, cultivate them. Those are the healthy feelings then that we add to the knowledge, which enables the laws of karma to start working for us instead of against us. But like I was saying, sometimes we have trouble connecting to our kindness because we're angry, because we've been hurt. We have trouble connecting to our love. And it's one thing to say, but you're made of love. That's why you love love. It's another thing to be hurt and not connect. And honestly speaking, for about 2 years, religiously, I practiced just this one little tool. If ever I found myself going off track, coming into the unhealthy part of me, those unhealthy energies that we spoke of before, I would just, first of all, catch it. We call it SOS, stop. S. O, observe. This feeling, it represents my higher self or my lower self. This energy is coming from my healthy self or my unhealthy self. So observe, that's O. S, stop. O, observe. And S, switch. Switch. And the purpose of a spiritual practice is to enable us to make that switch. And I have found that just looking around and identifying 10 things that I can appreciate, even on the grossest level, like, oh, you know, this is a very nice table or nice comfortable chairs. I really appreciate this mic. The most gross, mundane things, but that energy of appreciation moves you up towards that higher self and enables gratitude, which gets you even closer to something healthier inside yourself. You have to try this. This was a tip you just got based on knowledge. Anyone else? A healthy feeling?
Surrender.
Sorry?
Surrender.
Surrender. That's big. Surrender to what?
Surrender to the
To?
great power.
Surrender to a bigger power. This is very helpful. This is very helpful. If you're comfortable with the idea of there being a higher power in operation in your life, then surrendering to that, that's very interesting, but it takes a lot of knowledge. In my case, at least, I had to have a lot of understanding, and that took me time to prove to myself this very beautiful piece of information, which is that truly, I am not alone on this journey through time. Not only is there a larger plan, and it is a benevolent plan, working only for my benefit, but there is a higher power, a source, also very benevolent, only working to get me back to full health in terms of my feelings, in terms of the heart and the soul. So to surrender means I kind of confront my ego and I begin to understand, again, this is knowledge, how much of my unhealthy feelings are created by myself. That ego creates a lot of borders and boundaries, not bridges, between me and others. So am I going too fast? Are you with me? You following me?
Yes.
Yeah? That was a big yes. Okay. Yeah. So we're beginning to get a picture here. We're saying healing feelings. But there are now other words we can use. For example, on the basis of what I was sharing, we could say, getting back to, returning to, restoring health of the heart, health of the soul. You relate to that? You feel comfortable? In other words, originally, feelings are very healthy, very, very positive. And originally, that's what we tend towards. We preferred a loving response. We preferred a forgiving response, respectful response. Because that's the music inside. That's the tone. That's the frequency of energy, originally. But because we've been hurt, because we've been disappointed, because people have not met our needs or our expectations, then another energy began to layer that original energy. Disappointment, fear, pain, doubts, confusion, complications, and we started getting very distant from what is actually quite original. Another word for original? Healthy. Another word for healthy? True. True nature. True. Did you come here because you want to heal hurtful feelings, or because you really are tired of defending what Mother taught us and what religions teach us to be good? And yet it could be so challenging sometimes for that goodness to rule. So might you have also come here, consciously or less consciously, to get some truths clarified and maybe even fortified. Because I believe we have so much of this knowledge. We do. But we are shaking with this knowledge, either because of the amount of hurt in our life, or how it looks like hurtful people are having greater success in their life than us, when all we are trying to do is be good and work with good feelings. You with me? Yeah? Anybody have a question? Otherwise, I will give you 5 keys to come back to the truth of our being, the truth of our relationships and connections. But let's just take a minute or two to think about everything that's been said now. I had no intention of saying all of these things. I had a different plan, but somehow you all pulled this out. But it's a lot. So we just take a minute or two of silence to see, where does all of this sit in your own world, in your own journey? Was there something you heard which you really related to? Was there something you heard which you have a question about? Maybe we just take a minute or two, turn to your neighbor and share any particular thing you heard which you related to, or maybe you have a question about. Share with a neighbor for a minute or two. You didn't know you were coming to a workshop, huh? Not just sitting here, but working. Yeah, share a minute or two with a neighbor. Thank you. I'm really enjoying being in Dubai, let me tell you. This is a great group. You know, I've been to some countries, I ask a question, dead silence. So I ask it again, frozen silence. I ask it again, and then like I ask the hostess, do people in this country speak? But I see that you're very alive, very into it, so this is great. I asked you to share because sometimes, aside from the fact of finding ourselves in good company, when we articulate something which is true for us, it gets reinforced, right? And we want to leave tonight with the truth of our being reinforced. Not just some knowledge here, but some real empowerment for the good people we know ourselves to be. Anybody want to say anything before I share the 5 keys?
It's interesting you're saying when we share, something gets even more reinforced within you, right?
That's
If
right.
you share more about the overwhelming negative feelings, they also get reinforced, right?
This is absolutely true.
So,
Yeah.
there is a flip side to sharing and vocalizing.
That's right. That's right.
So,
In fact, my understanding is that whatever you articulate, talking about complication and complicated feelings, whatever you give words to multiplies by 1,000 the thoughts in your head. So something's happened. Be careful how much you speak about it and how you speak about it, because it'll multiply the amount of thoughts. And as you'll see in these keys that I want to share with you, thoughts are a big feature of this magic of being able to move myself to that higher self, that place where the original energies are flowing, my kindness, my love, my respect, with power. Do you know what it means to have healthy feelings with power? Healthy feelings with power mean people like it, people don't. They agree with my respect and my kindness, or they don't. They appreciate it, acknowledge it, or don't. I'm fine. Doesn't matter. I'm kind and I'm respectful because that's who I am. And I know about the laws of karma. So I'm earning. And earning, in terms of these energies, positive, healthy energies, means I become a happier person, a more peaceful person, a more loving person, independent of whatever is going on around me. Is that attractive? Is that attractive to you?
Yes.
I should be loving, I should be happy, I should be peaceful, independent of what's going on around me. Is that attractive to you? It is. Because then we move into another aspect of wisdom here. I can be a giver. And it feels so good to be a giver, unconditionally. I'm not going to be respectful because you are respectful to me. I'm going to be respectful because that's the original connection between us. So respectful with power, loving with power. It's the power that's been missing. Power means energy, and that's what we want to do in a spiritual study. We want to touch that energy itself to make our healthy feelings restored, returned to us. Anybody else want to say anything before I share the keys? Yes.
The SOS, what you said is the really good one.
Yeah.
You need to practice.
It takes practice. Everything takes practice. But you know what we're really talking about when we're saying power. Is the mic okay? When we're saying power in our goodness, and power means I'm less and less in reaction to people. I'm more and more in response to people. What are we really talking about? We're talking about being self-governingly good. Brahma Kumaris, Raja Yoga, we practice Raja Yoga meditation. Raja means king. So it means to become the king over the kingdom of the self. It means to start ruling this mind and heart and eyes and mouth. I see as I choose to see. That kind of power is healthy. That's how originally we were. That's originally how we were. Very interesting definition of depression. Depression. The mourning of the loss of my healthy, true self. When I've lost touch with my healthy feelings, true feelings, it means I'm dependent on other people to make me feel good. Is that a good space to be in? Dependent on other people to make me feel happy, to make me feel lovable. Is that good?
So,
It's not. That's a recipe for hurt feelings. Because 95% of the time, nobody can do this for me consistently. They can do it a lot of the time. And it's so beautiful to have relationships in which there is that exchange. The only problem is if I become dependent, right, on that as my source, instead of this wisdom, which reminds me that good feelings, healthy feelings, true feelings are already in there. All the love I want, the joy, the peace as energy is sitting inside. Higher self. She exists. Again, we have to prove this to ourselves. But this is why I don't know anybody who wakes up in the morning and says, today what I need is a really good temper tantrum. You know what a temper tantrum is? Angry. What I need is a really good fit of anger. Nobody ever says that, right? Because we don't like anger. We don't like disrespect. We don't like doubt, complicated. We don't like it because we are not made of those energies. They are very dissonant to what we are made of. We love loveful energies, peaceful feelings, because that is at the core. And every pain, every hurt is an invitation to come out of this dependency, which is not how we have been made, and into our true and healthy state of being, quality of being. How many think it's possible? How many think it's possible? Some. Okay, some not sure. Okay.
It is possible for others dependency, but what about the self-doubt created by myself?
That's right.
Why should I always give it? I mean, why should I give in to others all the time? So that is created by myself, self-doubt, that I'm a fool sometimes.
That's right. Was this a question or a confirmation?
Self-doubt created by myself.
Yes. Yeah, this is it. We were saying before, this is one of the kinds of feelings that we want to heal. Self-doubt, a disheartenment, discouragement. I want to share with you already the first key, because I think that looks a little bit more at exactly this point. 5 keys which can help us come back to self-mastery, because that's what we're talking about. Raja Yoga. Self-mastery, self-rulership, so that I'm not influenced by what's going on around me, but I influence. That's a nice thing. I'm sure you all know people in your life who influence goodness, and they save the day. Everyone else around them could be stressed and impatient and irritated, but they hold a different energy. These ones who influence, masters of the self. Very nice. So 5 keys. First one, this is a wonderful thing. Are you ready?
Yes.
Feelings are groups of thought. Did you know that? Feelings are groups of thought. Scratch any feeling deeply enough. At its origin is a thought, which shifts our focus. It means we don't have to heal feelings as much as we need to take charge of our thoughts, which is a very ancient practice. Take charge of this thing called the mind. Maybe you didn't think whatever is the thought at the seed of the feeling. Maybe you thought it years ago, and the feeling is just automatic for you. Every time somebody says something, the feeling comes up, the thought has been lost. But go deep into any particular feeling and you'll see that its origin, its seed is thought and the way I'm thinking about something. So this is already first step of taking charge. I know where to look. What have my thoughts been? So that's the first key. Second key. You like this?
Yes.
It's gonna work?
Yes.
Second key. I am not my thoughts. This is great knowledge. Of course, you have to prove it to yourself. Nothing of what I'm saying is going to be true for you unless you experiment with it. Practice it and prove it to yourself. But this is wonderful knowledge. I am separate from this mind, which sometimes can be so crazy, ruling me. I didn't want to say what just came out of my mouth. I didn't even want to think, what are these thoughts? I don't like people who say things like that or think like that or act like that, but there it is, words that even I don't approve of or behaviors. So this mind, we have to understand it, especially to understand this one thing. This mind, with all the thoughts, are like children. The mind doesn't really know the difference between right or wrong. It's just children, spoiled children. They've been at aunties for a whole summer and they've just been eating chocolate and candy and ice cream. So now these children are back home and they won't eat the peas, the potatoes, the good food. You follow my analogy? Our minds are used to junk food. This is what she said, and this hurt me so much, and he did this, and I'm thinking about this. This is junk food for the mind. The children of thoughts are running wild. When I say, I am not the mind, I'm not the thoughts, I'm separate, I'm saying I'm like the mother. So this mother has to take charge. SOS is one way we can take charge. Just stop. That's not the way I want to think or feel or speak or do. S, stop. O, observe. And S, make the switch. But as we practice some of these different things which help us believe that inside is pure goodness, we will be able to travel to that pool of goodness more and more, and that energy will also be working for us. That'll help us, S, stop. It'll help us, O, observe. This is not who I really am. And S, make the switch. Not externally a more respectful behavior, not externally a more patient behavior, but touching that energy of respect and peace, quiet. That energy will just produce a different way of seeing everything and speaking or acting. It's nice, huh? So I would like to do a little exercise. Oh my gosh, we are 20 past. Okay, maybe we'll wait with that. Are you ready to believe that you are separate from your thoughts? Is that okay with you? So you don't need to prove that to yourself. How many are okay with that? About half. Okay, so I'm not going to do that exercise because I'm just looking at the time. I'm going to go on with a few more of the keys. The third key we already spoke about, which is, we kind of spoke about it. As a living, intelligent being, with more than a mind, but also conscience. I always have a choice. I will always have a choice. With the SOS, I will always have an alternative. And as I continue to make that connection with those pure, healthy energies inside, I will be more and more convinced of the benefit of choosing an alternative way of seeing, speaking, or acting. And those energies will heal, because it's not that I'm faking it. It's not one thing on the outside with no work in the inside. This is lots of work on the inside. This is the real energy of goodness. And so feelings can really start being restored to their true state. Feelings can be really healed from the inside. So I always have a choice. And fourth, I would say that there is something you have which can immediately put you in touch with that healthy you. You're all following me so far, right? I'm saying, however much feelings you have inside you which need healing, there is a huge part inside you of very healthy, very true feelings that don't need healing at all. You with me on that? More or less? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's something you already have which will connect you to that good energy very quickly. That's useful because that's our practice. We're not into changing ourselves on the outside. That doesn't heal. We've got to get those energies growing like flowers in a garden. Think of that self like a garden. Many weeds. You can focus on the weeds. Keep pulling weeds, keep pulling weeds, keep pulling weeds. But if your lot is empty, the weeds will just keep growing back. Anybody have a garden here? Anybody have a garden? Some. If the lot is empty, the weeds will keep growing back. You will have to focus on just pulling weeds. But if you plant flowers and bush, there's no place for the weeds. So we have to put more energy into growing the flowers inside us than the attention to those weeds. That's basically what I'm saying. You have one thing which will immediately water and nurture your flower self, your goodness. Do you know what it is? I can hear the wheels turning in your heads. This is not a frozen silence. You're so good. I'm talking about one thing which can instantly put you into that higher self, your true self, where your power of goodness lies. You all have one thing. Do you know what it is? The soul, another word for the self. Okay.
Conscience. Conscience.
Conscience. It is there. It is there. That'll help you make your choices. Yeah.
Gut feeling. Gut feeling. You will say gut feeling.
Gut feelings, intuition. That's nice. That's nice. Sometimes that gut feeling is the conscience. In an ideal world, that conscience is healthy. It's not healthy now, which is why the mind is ruling. Okay, so I would like to ask Vered and our doctor sister to please pass out those cards, and you will discover the most important key. That each one of you has which will connect you almost immediately.
Silence.
Silence is good. Silence is a healthy part of it. So you just choose and take a good look at it. Very at this side, if you can start here. Take a look at it. Is it true? It's magic. So who relates to the card that they picked? On that card is a virtue. Virtue. Who relates to the virtue card that they picked? In other words, they say, wow, yes, it is true. This is me. Yeah? How many? Oh, look at that. It's magic. It's really magic. What I'm saying is a key here is that we each do have a special virtue. Something that has just been preserved in us. No matter how many unhealthy feelings have also been growing inside, we each have a special quality which has been preserved. And all I need to do is remember that this is my quality, specialty, which is true. It does come to me. It comes to me naturally. It comes to me easily. I need to just remember that I have it and use it. In any time of difficulty, if I can't remember an option and a best choice, use your specialty. It's closer to being powerful than any other choice because it's preserved in the sense that it's still connected to the highest self and it has that energy. So I'd like to hear from someone who thinks, yes, it's true, this is really me. Who would like to share? Don't be shy. Yes, sister, can you stand up and tell us what is the quality and what is the definition?
I'm generous. When my pure and positive energy naturally overflows, then I share that love with the whole world without being conditional in my giving.
Oh my gosh, can you read it one more time and face everyone so they can see you?
I'm generous. When my pure and positive energy naturally overflows, then I share that love with the whole world without being conditional in my giving.
Do you know her? Do you know her? Anybody know her?
No.
You look like you are a generous person, so I can believe it. Congratulations for being generous. The world needs generosity. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Yes. Yes, sir. Can you stand so we can all see it?
I am clean-hearted.
I am?
I am clean-hearted.
Oh.
The state in which there are no ill feeling in the heart and mind, and there are only good wishes, and pure feeling for everyone. I am clean inside and outside.
Oh my word. Clean-hearted. Clean-hearted. Look at him. Doesn't he look like he's clean-hearted? Beautiful face. Thank you. Thank you. And sister behind, you wanted to share?
I'm flexible. I adapt to difficult situations and face them with self-respect and values. Being fluid like water and able to flow whilst maintaining my original qualities of peace and love.
Oh my. Oh my. Flexible, flowing, flexible. So we are so good. How do you feel hearing these beautiful qualities? How do you feel? It makes us feel good because this is sunlight on our flower self. This is water to the flower garden. I have to start with nurturing, cultivating my own garden. And then it becomes easier and easier to have that faith that no matter what is happening in a relationship, no matter what's happening in my workplace, my own self-esteem, or the world, my community, the world, this is who I am. And as I go to the rescue of that part of myself, practicing any of these things that we are just talking about, the strength of my true healthy feelings will come back to me. And believe me, this is not selfish. This is not selfish. This is the fifth key. We talked about it earlier. The law of karma really is the universe inviting me to please remember truth. Connect with your energy of truth. It's here. It's not anywhere out there. It's inside. Energy of truth. And put that out through your eyes, through your words, through your behaviors. The universe is inviting us to this. Because the law of karma works on an individual level. If I put that out, the true energy of it, not fake, that's what's going to come back to me. But if enough people put that out, if enough people are working from this true original energy, and it's coming back into our character and our relationships and our behavior, then relationships are going to change. Community is going to change. The workplace is going to change. And I can tell you, even this time in the journey of humanity will change. So many countries, there's so much suffering, so much injustice, so much pain and sorrow. We understand night of humanity. But after the night always comes the day. The only question is, who will bring that light? And it's us. It's us. Any one of us who said, I am interested in understanding how truth can be so beautiful, virtuous, quality. And we, this human species, which is so filled with unhealthy feelings at this point in time, a darkness, originally, eternally, the truth is pure goodness. And just enough of us working from this conviction, practicing, putting out this truth, and believe me, this night, long night of humanity will finish and the new day can begin. And not only will the self be ruled again by peace and happiness and love, but the whole world will once again be ruled by that. This is my 1000% faith and conviction, but there is work to do. So you will help me? You will do this work? Thank you very much. Om Shanti. Do we have time for a few minutes of silence together? Yeah. So let's do this little journey of moving from the everyday self that I might know very well to that highest self inside me, but possibly quite layered or buried between lower, old thoughts and feelings. Can you imagine for a moment that floating just in front of your forehead is a mini you? And then gently slide that mini you way to the back of the head. And imagine that there you discover a beautiful corner with a big comfortable armchair, footstool, soft lighting, as if way in the back of the head there is such a space of absolute comfort, and you settle yourself in that deep armchair, comfortable stool, soft lighting. Here, you're very far from your roles and responsibilities. They'll all be waiting for you when you finish this little exercise. So now, just be far from all of that, enjoying this space way at the back of the head. Here, you can drop the masks and the pretenses. They're not needed here. Here it's as if you have found a corner for just well-being. As if you found a corner for just being you. As if you found a corner for just being, for just being. Here you're very far from the mind. You are very far from the mind. The mind with all its thoughts is way up in the front. Put yourself in that deep, comfortable armchair way in the back. You're very far from the mind. You are independent of the mind. Separate. You are separate from the mind. You are free. Free. And in this independence, in this freedom, there is so much peace, gentle quiet all around. Feel the healthy, wonderful beauty of your innermost, truest being. And as you begin the return to the consciousness of the physical, why not keep with you this awareness of true being so that you can be an instrument of peace for all your brothers and sisters, the whole world. Om Shanti.